what I referred to earlier, spiritual hunger, a real hunger. That hunger is slowly affecting more and more people in this modern age. They have plenty to satisfy physical hunger, plenty for intellectual hunger. In spite of all this, a nameless hunger is coming to humanity today. We call it spiritual because it is not genetically limited. It takes us beyond this genetic limitation. The spiritual is infinite. The genetic is limited here. But the real spiritual nature of man is infinite. It is one with all. In spiritual life, I am one with you, one with everybody, one infinite spiritual energy functioning through you and through the universe. That knowledge we are seeking today. Science is pointing in that direction. Many scientists. Infinite, it is one with all. In spiritual life, I am one with you, one with everybody, one infinite spiritual energy functioning through you and through the universe. That knowledge we are seeking today. Science is pointing in that direction. Many scientists are explicitly stating this truth. For example, man like Schrödinger, nuclear scientist, he says the profoundest truth about man is this Tattvamasi. You are that. You are that. Suppose I am depressed, I am weak, the doctor will come. Why are you depressed? That's not your true dimension. You are healthy and strong. Try to manifest your true nature. That's the language we use. So in all human weaknesses, we neglect one factor that is within, the source of infinite strength. That is the Atman, the divine, hidden in all beings. And today, there is a real search in this direction. Many other seekings we have done. The greatest search today is the search for the divine. So spiritual life looms large in human life today. What is that thing called spiritual life? What is its technique? How can we achieve it? Even scientists are eager to know this. After all, they may be great scientists in dealing with the world outside, but in this field, they are babies. They are children. This profound mystery makes us feel we are like children before the world. This has been given expression too by a great English poet, Tennyson. I like his lines wonderfully. Before the mystery of the unknown in man and nature, what is man's reaction? And he answers, but what am I? An infant crying in the night, an infant crying for the light, and with no language but a cry. A baby has nothing but a cry. We are babies in the spiritual world. We want to grow, we want to unfold, we want to mature. That's called the spiritual life. That is on in the modern age. That's the most beautiful aspect of modern technological civilization. A dissatisfaction with what is achieved around. A seeking for something higher, deeper. This is expressed by the great Shankaracharya, the profoundest philosopher of India of the 8th century AD, in a famous hymn. That hymn ends with a question. Every verse ends with a question. It's a wonderful language. Tatakim, 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 tatakim. What next? What next? What else? What else? You have health, you have beauty, you have power. Still the heart will ask you, what next? What else? That question will come. You have got all the achievements of life, great position and other enjoyments. Still the heart will ask this question, what else? What else? Until you get this answer, this is my true nature. Tattvamasi, I must experience for myself. Then only all this questioning will go. I'll be established in my own true nature, in my own true dimension. That is the spiritual quest, which alone can lead to fulfillment. All values are spiritual. Even eating physical food, Vedanta sees as something spiritual. You are developing your body you are evolving in a particular direction. So, from that point of view, everything is spiritual. It's a spiritual pilgrimage man is engaged in. No animal can have a spiritual pilgrimage, nor even a psychic pilgrimage. Its pilgrimage is encoded in its genetic system, and it only follows whatever the genetic code tells it. Man alone can go beyond the genetic code, beyond the genetic kind of dictation. He can be free. He can be free. And freedom is a spiritual value. You should always remember, freedom, even political freedom, is a spiritual value functioning at a particular level. Physical freedom is also a spiritual value functioning at a physical level. Somebody compresses my body, keeps it under bondage. I want to break through from it. What is that experience? It is a spiritual experience. All freedom is spiritual experience. But it doesn't end up merely with physical freedom, even intellectual freedom, or political freedom, or freedom from hunger. These are all freedoms, but the supreme freedom is the freedom of the spirit. I have realized my infinite nature. I am free, I am free, I am free. You can proclaim you are free. One of the poems of Vivekananda is this great song of freedom. What a beautiful idea. I am free. In Hindi, in Urdu, they call it Azad. Repeat day and night, I am free, Vivekananda said. That freedom is a spiritual value. How many people are physically free, economically free, politically free, but spiritually unfree? Today we find plenty of people. In fact, there was an article in the American Journal, most probably Reader's Digest, about 20 years ago. He says, we think we are all free. Actually, we are not. In a highly technical civilization, you are not free. Everything is made for you. An advertisement says, this toothpaste is best, and you are immediately carried away by that advertisement. You go and purchase it. Are you free? Not at all. Somebody is manipulating you all the time. In a highly technical civilization, freedom is in jeopardy. Everything is manipulated for you. The Swami was telling me today that certain foodstuffs like bread, you must take only what is regulated by the government, the enriched food. You can't take anything else. You can't sell also. You are not free. Everything is given to you. So where is freedom? Freedom is a wonderful value. We all want to seek it. But there is more of regulation of my life by external forces than even we have in any kind of society. So it is a spiritual value. We can be unfree in a free political system. We can be free even in an unfree political system. I saw in India, when India was unfree under the British, there were more free people. A man like Gandhi was a free-minded person, though politically he was not free. In free India, there are so many unfree people, petty-minded, small. Where is freedom there? So this wonderful idea of freedom is a spiritual value. We must realize that spiritual freedom, that will come only not by having more food, more clothing, more gadgets, not at all. Realizing our true nature, I am free, I am free. Shuddha, Buddha, Mukta Subhava, Paramatman. That's my true nature. Shankaracharya said, ever pure, ever free, ever illumined self. That is my true nature. I must realize it. It's not a matter for belief. In Christian teaching, if a teacher tells you Jesus died on the cross, you just believe he came for you, then everything is okay. Vedanta will never say so. By simply believing that somebody did something for you, you can't be free. In very many verses, Shankara explains it. If you are hungry, father and mother cannot eat on your behalf, you have to eat yourself. If you are carrying a heavy burden, somebody can help you. But in hunger, you must eat for yourself. In matter of truth, you have to experience it yourself. Vastu Swarupam, I am quoting a famous verse from one of his famous books, Viveka Chudamani, crushed jewel of discrimination. English translation is there in the bookstall. Shankara says there, Vastu Swarupam Spudavotha Chakshusha Svenaiva Vedyam Natu Panditena Chandra Swarupam Nichachakshushaiva jnatavyam anyairavagamyate kim. The nature of truth must be realized by every person for oneself, not through a proxy of another scholar on your behalf. The full moon rising in the eastern sky, if you want to enjoy it, go and look with your own eyes, then you will enjoy it. If somebody comes and describe it to you, you will never enjoy the beauty of that full moon. What a beautiful expression. Spirituality must be realized by everyone for oneself. Vedanta adds that the birthright of every human being. That is your true nature. Only we neglect it. That neglect must end. And today, compulsive circumstances make us understand this truth. We can't neglect our spiritual nature anymore. We have become lost in the crowd, lost in the collectivity, lost in the technical debris of civilization. We have to rescue ourselves from that condition. So spiritual life and spiritual striving, spiritual realization are not academic, are not merely for talking. It is a striving and realization. At no time in human history has this become such a profound possibility of realization by the largest number of people as today. Decline of institutional religion, creedal religion, increase of questioning, these are all beautiful things for spiritual development. That is why, because spirituality is the very soul of a science of religion, India never suppressed questioning. Here it is creed, so they suppressed all questioning. If it is spirituality, the more you question, the better for you. Truth is not afraid of questioning. Truth shines better by investigation, by questioning. As we say in our mystical books, gold shines better when it is put through fire. The more it passes through fire, the better for gold. Nothing is lost thereby. Similarly is truth. And so this spiritual life is approached like any other scientific investigation. We have, this subject is very vast, so I can only compress it for a short talk, but much more is there available in books, Vivekananda literature, Sri Ramakrishna's Gospel, my own book, The Message of the Upanishads, Eternal Values for a Changing Society, but I put it a little in a compressed form this evening. Science studies physical nature and discovers energy is hidden in a piece of matter. The primitive man knew only combustion energy. Even that much later in his life. In the beginning, we never knew how to use fire. And so one day fire was discovered. Then we became the possessor of a tremendous source of energy. We call it combustion. Burn fuel, you get energy. For thousands of years, that continued. In the last century, we found another source of energy much more immense. That's called electricity. Within matter, there is a little source of energy that's called electricity. That revolutionized modern civilization in the last century. And in this century, science has gone still deeper into matter. And we are having nuclear energy, infinite energy from the piece of matter. It's a wonderful development in the external side. Just imagine the sages of India taking up a subject similar to this, but a different category. Taking up the subject of man. Here, that newborn baby. They peered into the eyes of that baby, I mean figuratively speaking, and discovered infinite resources of energy hidden in that baby. Not merely the little combustion energy in its muscle, not only its own intellectual energy, deeper still, but they found infinite energy of the Atman hidden in that child. And they devised a technique for bringing out this energy, just like as we have devised our various reactors to bring out this nuclear energy in a piece of matter. It is there they discovered various levels of energy in every human being, as science discovered various levels of energy in a piece of matter. Shankaracharya, commenting upon a great verse in that Kathopanishad, gives us a beautiful exposition of what you call the spectrum of energy resources hidden in every human being. The whole language is scientific, which you can check up and verify for yourself. I am quoting it in English, just the substance of what he has written. Human energy resources are organized on an ascending scale, see the language, on an ascending scale of subtlety, immensity, inwardness. 3 words: subtlety, immensity, inwardness. The Sanskrit is Sukshma, Mahantascha, Pratyagatma Bhutascha. The word subtle means Sukshma in Sanskrit. Gross means Sthula. See, this body is Sthula. You can touch it. What you call, whatever yields to the sense of touch is called gross. So the body is gross. Then Sukshma, subtle. Within this muscle, there is a tiny nerve fiber. Compared to the muscle, it is very small, more subtle in operation. Between these two, which contains more energy? The nerve fiber, not the muscle. Cut the muscle, nerve is dead. The muscle is dead. So what is Sukshma or subtle contains more energy, immense. Mahantascha means that. We have seen when energy is subtle, it is immense in range and power. Energy is gross, it is very ordinary. Within the human system, there is a gradation of energy. The most obvious energy is the muscle. And most people can see only that energy and say this is the greatest. I used to make fun sometimes when I address children. If a picture of Mahatma Gandhi or Jesus is placed in front of you, and also some of these great wrestlers, boxers like Muhammad Ali, 2 pictures are there. Ask children, who is greater? All of them will say Muhammad Ali is greater. What can they understand of the greatness of Mahatma Gandhi or Jesus Christ? Here is something visible, tangible. He is the greatest hero for all little children. That's right. You can think only in a gross way. But the muscle is great. But behind the muscle is a tiny nerve fiber that contains all the energy of that muscle. It is subtle but immense and inward. Truly your own self. That's the language. Truly your own self. Compared to the muscle, the nerve is truly your own self. What a wonderful idea. Go one step further. The psyche, not at all visible, not at all sensorily verifiable, and yet immense energy, that if the psyche breaks down, the muscle and the nerve are gone. They won't function at all. Psychic breakdown is an experience. We know how helpless a man becomes. I have seen a big professor, brilliant man, psychic breakdown. Like a baby, he sits helpless. What has happened to that energy? It has disappeared. It is there, but defunct, not at all available, somewhere hidden within. But he came out of it. After 6 months, he could conduct his work properly. So psyche contains more immense source of energy, is more subtle and more inward, more truly yourself. These are the 3 energies which we can now study with a certain measure of scientific accuracy. But Vedanta says the greatest energy resource lies beyond that psychic level. That's the Atman, infinite, divine, hidden in every human being. We have psychic energy. An intellectual has plenty of psychic energy. But when something goes wrong with him, he breaks down. He has no strength. In fact, intellectuals break down more easily than ordinary people. They commit suicide more often than ordinary people. What is the strength that can stop him do this? What is the strength that can bring peace into his mind when it is disturbed? When there is a big temptation in front, $1 million temptation, what is the strength that will resist that temptation? No intellect can resist it. No muscle can resist it. No nervous system can resist it. There must be a deeper energy to be stirred, to be able to stand this kind of pressure coming from outside. The source of freedom hidden within you. It's not there in the muscle. It's not there in the nerve. It's not there in the psychic system. It's a deeper level. We call it the Atman, the spiritual dimension of every human personality. Stir it. energy comes. When you are tired, when you are weak, tell, I am the Atman. I am infinitely free and pure. Immediately you find some energy coursing through you. In all psychic breakdown, we give counter-suggestion to the patient. That is your true nature, not this. Try to realize it. What Vivekananda called dehypnotization. In America, when he spoke on Vedanta, that was the time people were talking about hypnotism. So somebody questioned him, Swami, are you not preaching some sort of hypnotism to people? And straight came the answer, Vedantic answer, no, I am dehypnotizing you. You are already hypnotized. You are weak, you are small, you are white, you are black, all this hypnotism. You are the infinite Atman, Tattvamasi, that is your true nature. I am dehypnotizing you, he said. What a beautiful answer. When we are hypnotized, we are weak. Our freedom goes away. And today a political orator can hypnotize a whole audience. They are all hypnotized. How to be free? We are thought for, shaped by events, forces outside of ourselves, wrote that Reader's Digest article. There's a great dangerous threat in the air, he said. Not from hydrogen bomb, but this social force that makes you an object among objects. Where is your freedom? Freedom of choice. You have lost it. A little spiritual life will bring about that experience of freedom, without which a highly technical civilization will be highly regulated civilization. You are only one item among items, because the spiritual freedom is completely lost thereby. It's no wonder that a man like Carl Jung of Zurich wrote that famous book with that very catching title, a true title, Modern Man in Search of a Soul. We have a wonderful body, but the soul has gone away. It has fallen into the debris of this civilization. We have to rescue it. That's a condition today. So the challenge of the modern age places this subject as a primary significance to man. We have achieved wonderful things, no doubt. But in the absence of this, all this becomes ashes in the mouth. With this will shine. With spiritual freedom, modern technical civilization will shine. Without it, it will be the enemy of mankind. We shall become an object among objects, our subjecthood, our being the self, that be completely ignored by this civilization. That's why spiritual life is not something far away, something academic, something we can postpone. We have to do it now itself. This spiritual development of man, in and through the life that we live, the work that we do in this world, that is what Sri Krishna taught in the Gita, the famous yoga of the Gita. In and through your work, you develop your spiritual strength, your spiritual quality. Tremendous resources come to you. Infinite resources come to you. They are hidden within you. And you can see it. Take, for example, as an illustration, whenever we eat food, we feel strong. When we don't eat food, we don't feel strong at all. Even the mind becomes weak when you starve, not only the body. Now, can we equate all human strength, that it is all nothing but transformation of food? It doesn't stand to reason. People who eat heavily, they are not always strong. They are often weak. People who eat very little, often very strong. I don't think Gandhi ate much. Jesus did not eat much. They were full of energy. Their energy was transforming the world itself for centuries together. Where from do they get that energy? Not from the muscle, not from the brain, but from a deeper source. There you can see the real functioning of spiritual energy. Similarly, when there is love in the heart, and love is a spiritual force, a spiritual quality, it's not something physical, it's not something intellectual. Wherever there is love, you can work hard without feeling tired. A spiritually motivated nurse can wait upon a patient the whole night without feeling tired. But suppose that spiritual motivation is not there, you begin to grumble all the time. Wherever there is spiritual strength, you don't grumble. Grumbling is like creaking of a door. Not enough oiling, therefore it creaks. So all those who grumble, they need a little spiritual oiling. Then there will be no grumbling. So that carrying comes only when you have spiritual strength. Otherwise you will be simply grumbling all through, full of confusion, full of weakness, and somehow like a donkey carrying a heavy load going on. You will be like this. Don't be like that, says Vedanta. Don't be like an animal carrying a heavy burden. That's not your nature. You are not a creature. You are free. That is the spiritual message of Vedanta. It doesn't speak of salvation. Somebody coming and salvaging you from here. Freedom is your birthright. It is your own true nature. That's why in that famous hymn on Nirvana, that divine perfection of man, Shankaracharya sings, Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham. I am Shiva, of the nature of pure consciousness and bliss. That's my true nature. That is the nature of man. Today we need to incorporate this message into this highly efficient technical civilization. Something great will happen. A healthy society, healthy men and women. The word health needs that new definition. Mere physical, mental, social well-being is not enough. Spiritual well-being also is necessary. Calm, peaceful, doing heavy work without any fuss. Whenever there is fuss, there is some spiritual weakness. If a person is fussy while working, something is wrong. A fussy machine is wrong. A fussy old motor car is wrong. We want a new type of motor car which doesn't make any noise at all, because there's tremendous energy within. So behind the muscular, behind the intellectual, there's enormous energy. When that starts flowing a little into life, all fuss goes away. Cheerfulness comes. Capacity to love comes. Heavy burdens are carried with a lightness. That is a wonderful idea. Now this is a thing which can be realized by every human being by effort and struggle. As there is a science and technique of physical nature, there is a science and technique of human nature. To unravel the mystery is hidden there, to unfold the possibility is hidden there. That is how Vedanta deals with this profound subject of man's spiritual life. Tattvamasi, Tattvamasi is the profound truth. We can tell it to any child. In fact, in that TV show in Sydney, this subject came up. Some American children, within TV they showed American children asking, what is God? What is God? Like that, they answer various things. Then Martin turned to me, Swami, what have you to say to that subject? Children asking about God. Sir, God is somebody sitting in the sky and he will give you some sweets when you are hungry. That's not the nature of God. God is hidden in every human being. I said, just like fire is hidden in a matchstick. Ah, that's a wonderful idea. That man immediately remarked, fire is hidden in a matchstick. Tell every child there is fire in the matchstick. He will touch it. It is cold. There's no fire, he will say. And you will say, there is fire. It's a science, it's a truth. There is fire. But it is hidden. There's a technique by which you can manifest that fire. They immediately strike the matchstick, fire comes. Children will jump up. Beautiful. There was fire. I didn't know it. I didn't feel the touch of fire there. But it is there, hidden. Wonderful. He said, this is a wonderful idea. Then I said, one condition must be satisfied. The matchstick must be dry. If it is wet, the whole box of it will be lost. The mind must be in a particular condition to manifest this divine nature. It must not be under the thraldom of man's sensory system. See the language. If the mind is under the thraldom of man's sensory system, it is like a wet matchstick. This fire won't come. It must be free. It must be truly mind in its best sense. That's the meaning of what Jesus said. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. Not simply believe. What a beautiful idea. Let me conclude by quoting a verse from that same Viveka Chudamani of Shankaracharya. There are three types of men and women, says Shankaracharya. Deho hamityeva jadasya buddhi, dehetu jivas vidushastuham dhihi, viveka vijnana mahatmano, brahmahamityeva matis sadatmani. To the dull-witted, gross-minded person, the awareness is, I am this gross body. He doesn't know anything else. I am this gross body. When that awareness is there, they go on piling nice things on the body, dress, sense, so many things. We want to give good food to the body. We go on pandering to the body. Today's civilization is more or less the same. Everywhere eating houses, everywhere this, everywhere that. There is nothing food for the soul, only for the body everywhere. That is, Jadasya Buddhi, gross-minded person will think, I am this body which is so palpable, I can't understand anything higher. But a little subtle-minded person will say, I am a soul hidden within this body. Under the pressure of this body, that knowledge comes to him. But the truly awakened person will say, I am that infinite Brahman, the infinite Atman, ever free, ever pure, without any conditioning from the body or the mind. That's my true nature. This is how we develop our spiritual awareness step by step. Start from wherever you want, but seek deeper, deeper, more subtle energy resources. And when the spiritual energy comes to you, you can take all the changes and chances of life with a smile. There will be no, what you call in psychology today, trauma, when you pass through some bad experience. Whenever some bad experience comes to us, it creates a trauma in our system. And children are full of traumas today. We called it complexes in psychology, in Freudian language. Today we call it trauma. Children are full of trauma, grown-ups are full of trauma, means psychic distortion. They couldn't handle our experience. So when you don't handle the experience, what happens to you? Experience handles you. You become an object of experience. If I don't digest my food, the food starts digesting my system. That's called disease. So trauma is because of spiritual weakness. We are all spiritually weak in today's civilization. Therefore, plenty of traumas. Parents won't scold a child. If you scold, there will be a trauma. And many people are feeling this is wrong. What is the way out? Strengthen the child spiritually. I don't know the meaning of trauma. I have received so many caning in my hand. I simply rubbed it and passed away. There is no trauma. This is because we were told that they are not this body only. There is something else. 12 cuts I got one day as a boy. I simply smiled and sat down afterwards. Nothing more happened. Today a little mild scolding is enough. I become like this and commit suicide also. What is this? Trauma. Because we live under a very shallow psychology. What is called Freudian psychology, it was known as depth psychology. Actually, it is not deep, it's very shallow. From the old psychology point of view, it was deep. What you call Watson's behavioristic psychology, but compared to that, this is a little deep. But when you opened the lid to the mind, he found only muck in the human mind. That is Freudianism today. And I may quote an American writer who said, we want a new slogan today. We had an old slogan in education, spare the rod and spoil the child. In education, we always use this, what you call the rod, the K, in those days. Then came a revolution. Love alone can be the medium of education, not the rod. So we dispense with the rod in education. That's good. We dispense with one statement, one slogan. But we want a new slogan today, he said. And what is that? Just see the old language, spare the rod and spoil the child. We discarded it. Today we want spare the Freud and save the child. We want a new psychology, the divine spark in every human being. Jung was a protest against Freud. He saw something divine in every human being. He said, if there is the id that is coming to dominate my mind, there is something resisting it. That resisting principle I call spirit. That's what Jung said there. Vedanta puts it the clearest language, going deep into the system. And then comes that great truth, Tattvamasi, Tattvamasi. You are that infinite Atman, ever pure, ever free. All infection can affect only the body, the senses, and the mind. It can never affect the Atman. The Atman is never infected. The only purest part of your system is the Atman. The only unaffected part of your system is the Atman. Even the worst sinner, the Atman is ever free. That's the great language of Vedanta. Because there is that particular reality, he can easily make it manifest and overcome these infections in the body, mind, and the nervous system. That's a wonderful idea. Take that light from there and let that light blazon up the rest of the system. I was often, when you go to the bathroom, you have got the gas for heating the water. A little flame is always there. As soon as you open the tap, it becomes a flaming. So this Atman is always like a little flame. You can always make it a flame and deal with human problems in a big way. That's a teaching you have to give to every child today, because a teaching you give to a child must be such that when it grows up, it must find its truth more and more. It should not find it as a false teaching, just a grandmother's tale. It should not feel like that. Then there will be reaction. This is the only truth that will be found to be truer and truer as the child grows in understanding, intelligence, and capacity. This is the saving teaching to be given to every child. Swami Vivekananda referred to it here and said an ancient queen mother in India did this with respect to her children. As soon as a child is born, she will rock that child in the cradle, singing this wonderful song, Shuddhosi Buddhosi Niranjanosi Samsara Maya Malavajjitosi. That mother did not say, this child, you are that Satan's product, you are born in sin. Never. You are the pure one, you are the holy one, you are free from all the taints of this worldliness. That is your true nature. That is how the mother gave suggestions of the truth of the child's nature when it is the most sensitive period, absorbent period as a child. That's the teaching our children need today, so that our beautiful angelic children, who are angels up to 12, after 12 something happens to some of them. Why should it happen? Let them continue to be angels. They are all angels up to 12. I have seen all over the world. Beautiful. That is the work of this profound message of Vedanta. The spirituality advocated in Vedanta, experienceable, verifiable in life, in action, in interhuman relations. That's the beauty of this great subject, spiritual life. Thank you all.